Всем привет.
Good evening, guys. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you all. Although not everyone is going to be present today, as usual on Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. So let's start our stand-up. And Galina is the first today.
Good evening, everyone. This for today. I was watching video with Slava Skrebin, and also I was working on our homework. I didn't finish it yet, but I made maybe 7 or something like that examples for the search engines. I'm still working on it. I'm not sure if we had to finish it today.
No.
Not enough time.
I understand that, and maybe some of the search engines require more time because it's real websites and it's sometimes difficult to identify the correct express expression, especially if you are new to this task. Okay, take your time, and over the weekend you definitely will get another assignment, so you will have 2 days to complete your tasks. Okay, thank you. The next will be Camila.
Good evening, everyone. So today I completed search engine automation. I completed all of them, except I had some problem with the wiki page. So I managed to outcome the additional window, but it doesn't finding the word cucumber on it. I don't know, maybe.
I understand why, and of course we are going to look into this problem today. Okay.
Thank you.
Great job, thank you. Michael?
Hey folks, what's up? I made my home task with search engines today. Some minor questions with cucumber syntax, but in rest, everything is fine. Thanks.
Minor questions with cucumber syntax. Okay, we are going to look into cucumber syntax today and start working on some new exercises, creating cucumber scenarios together. Good. Tatiana?
Hello everyone. I completed all tasks except wiki. I have the same issue that Camila with cucumber, with searching cucumber, and no blockers so far.
Good. Lisa?
Hi guys, so as for today, I haven't completed task assigned to me in Jira yet, but I was able to do only half of homework, but I'm going to finish it over the weekends and no blockers so far.
Good to hear that, thank you. Aslanbek?
Good evening. Today I've completed my home task in this automation of the search engines. The same, I was failing the wiki page, but I don't know why, because I switched to iframe, but it insists not to find the cucumber word in the title. So.
That's good that you
yeah, and the second one, the Yandex engine was searching in Russian, so I failed to find cucumber in there as well.
Okay, even when I'm working with just Cucumber or Yandex.com, not Yandex.ru, right? So you have different URLs for those, right? It still doesn't have Cucumber. So you definitely can use some other word. If it is not searchable on the page, then you definitely will not.
Yeah, sure. I understand that the script is correct.
Change another word. Search for another word.
Okay. So no stoppers for today.
Okay, good. So you switched, but the word was not searchable still.
Yeah, I switched to iframe, and I searched for a certain element. In this iframe, the element was found, but in this element, I couldn't find the word cucumber. But in manual search, the word exists.
Yes. Okay, we will look into this. I believe that there are two iframes, and maybe you just selected the wrong one.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Anna will be the next.
Hello, everyone. I work on my task automate search engines. I have almost done. I have problems with 2 scenarios, with wiki page and Ecosia. Other 8 scenarios, all tests are passing. Thank you.
Okay, very good. We will look into the ones that you were having problems with. Nina will be the next.
Hi everyone. I automated 8 scenarios. Have the same problems with iframe in wiki and additional window in give water. That's all. No other blockers.
Okay. Thank you, Artyom.
Good evening, team. I did the great part of the homework, didn't finish it, but from what I had, I didn't have no blockers. So everything seemed to be okay. And I watched the video from the previous class. And that's about it.
What, Dina?
Good evening, everyone. Also, I had the same issue with wiki. I didn't finish that point, but I finished my other tasks and I completed like all the links. I verified the each task for them. Other than that, I don't have any blockers.
So you still have to start the engines, right?
One more time, sorry.
Did you start the engines?
Yes, everything is passing, just the wiki is not working.
Okay, very good. The next will be Shweta. How was your examination, by the way?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, hi everyone. Hi Galina. Yeah, my exam was actually very good. Thank you for letting me off the class yesterday. So after my exam, I watched last night's recording and I finished the classwork and I'm working on the homework. So I'm, I think, half done. So I should be able to finish by the weekend, of course.
Okay.
So, no blockers.
Thank you so much. And Anna, no.
Hello everyone. So I work on my task automation search for search engine, but I was not able to complete. So I had the blockers with the site search encrypt and decay. I cannot open them with Google Chrome. It says this site cannot provide a secure connection. So I not able to create my scenario for these two search engines.
Okay, so you have very strict security provisions on your computer, right? So if you don't want to take the risk, that's fine. Okay. And Julia will be the next.
Good evening. So I almost complete my automatic search for different search engine, but I was stuck in Wikicom, and I will do it today, I believe. No blockers so far.
Okay, so guys, did I miss anyone? All right, then let's start our class with review of your homework.
Recording in progress.
And which of the search engines, guys, except for Wiki, you would like to look into?
Ecosia.
Ecosia?
Ecosia, yes.
Okay, let's start with Ecosia. Okay, so we will add one more scenario. Redefine 3. And steps. Okay, so we need to go to the site. Yeah, every time it is updated. Every time we have to see something new, right? The UI of this page is absolutely different from when I visited it last time. Okay, so let's add this URL to the first step given. I open URL and then Ecosia is the search engine. Of course, I will select I should see. Page title contains the word Ecosia. Okay, then I will have to identify or wait until this input field is present. So input placeholder, name, probably name will be the best option. Let's select relative express and try to search for that. No, it doesn't give me a good result. So I will construct it manually. So it will be div. No, it is input. Input with attribute name equal Q. Okay. So then element with XS should be present. Then I will enter some text into this element. And I click on the element it will be button. Okay, it's actually the button icon, right? Area label submit, button type submit. How many button types submit do we have? Button type equals submit. Only one element, so we definitely will be using this XPath expression. Okay, and when I click, or I can use and I click an element with this XPath expression, and then I want to add some wait time to see that it is working. Okay. Alright, so it is working, and now I need to identify the cucumber word. So what do we have here? Div class result body. What else can we use here? This is very limited, right? Area. Yeah. So we have only 5 cucumber words here. Maybe we can go to this line. So div class main line results. Okay, let's construct div class main line results.
You have type
okay, what if I use the card here? Still equal. Okay, of course I will take this one. Then I wait for element to be present. And then I will just verify that the element with this XPath should contain my text. All right, let's run it again. Okay, so it is passing with successful result. 8 steps passed successfully.
Thank you.
Okay, and now let's go to the wiki page. And let's type our behavior-driven development. and click on this wiki search, and then we need to continue, right? So click on this button and then verify cucumber results. Okay, again, cucumber here, and this is where we need to go, right, from this line. Okay, let's expand this. Is it the one? Okay, so here we have the cucumber word, and we will go several levels up. So we have this GSC web results, GSC expansion area, right? And we have GSC result box visible and GSC add block. So this add block and this GSC results block are on the same level. They're siblings, right? And our cucumber belongs to this results box. Okay, so this will be probably our top level element that we need to address. But if we go several levels up, you will see that we have this iframe, and if our page contains iframe, this is kind of an embedded HTML page, right, with the same elements, head and body. And we will not be able to identify anything if we don't switch to this page. And Slava created for us this step so that we'll be able to switch from the main body to this embedded iframe. So the step for that is when I switch to the element with, and we will address this iframe by its name. So iframe name is Google search frame. Okay, now let's create this scenario, and that will be our predefined for scenario. Predefined steps for wiki. So given I open this wiki page, and then I need to verify the page title, which is wiki.com. Okay. So we can use the exact match here, right? Then I should see the page title as a string, and it will be okay, so it is wiki.com. Okay, then element with let's identify the element. Input name Q. Okay, we have this already. We can copy and paste this line. And then I will again reuse this. Okay, so when I click on this, but I need to identify now this wiki search. Okay, let's do it. it is input type submit, name button G. Okay, I think we have this name button G already. So it is input name equals button G. Okay, what about changing this? That's working. Okay. So, and I click the element with this expression. Okay, let's add wait time. And run it. Okay, now we need to identify this send anyway button. Okay, send anyway button. And it will be button proceed. ID proceed button. Okay, so it will be button ID
It will not show you that it's unique, but it is unique. You can use it.
Okay, I will definitely use it and add it to my script. When I click on element with this expression, then okay, let's run this one and see that it goes to the next page. All right, so we are good. Now let's review. We need to switch, right? So we will select this element, step with switch, and the name of the iframe is, let me, okay, again, cucumber. Oops. I need to click on this. Okay, so we know that this is no, it is not the one that I did. Here we go. This is our AD block invisible, and the name of our iframe is Google search frame. Okay, so it will be again tag name iframe, right? Iframe with the name that equals Google search frame. now we need to add one more step, and I switch to iframe with XS. Okay, and then we, inside this iframe, we will search for the element this add block invisible, right? So we have add block and the add block results visible here. Add GSC results block visible. Okay, it will be our element with div and class attribute that is equal to no, it's wrong. Class. Okay, because it is inside the frame, I believe. Let's use this one. What about this one? Maybe it will be searchable from this page. Yes, so it is correct. So CrowPass does not recognize it if it is within the iframe, but this search window helps us to identify correct syntax for this. Okay, let's add this one. And then element with XS should be present. And then I verify that it contains this text. Okay, I think we did it. Let's run it one more time. Okay, so it is good. You see this one add block. If we look inside this add block, we will see that it contains one more iframe. And maybe if you, Aslanbek, use this GSC.
I used the correct one, but when I was searching for the element, I used incorrect selector.
Okay. So we definitely will ignore this element, right? And inside this results visible, it will be searchable. And if you want to go back to the main page, so that it, for example, your scenario needs to go back and search some other things there, then you have to add the final step, which is and I switch to default content, and it will go back to the main window. This is it. Isn't it fun, guys, to work with elements and make them work in your test scripts?
Yes.
Okay, today we're going to have even more fun. But before we start practicing, I would like to share with you a small presentation. And it will be our Cucumber and behavior-driven development approach. So this is what our tool set as people who are dealing with test automation should look like, right? So we definitely need to have basic HTML knowledge just to be able to address to some elements that we will include into our test scripts so that we can properly interact with them, right? So it can be done by using different selectors, right? It can be ID, name, class name, tag name, or XPath expression or CSS expression. So we agree that we will be not running in two directions simultaneously, but we will stick to learning XPath. And there are two reasons that so made our choice. So what were they, guys? What are the basic reasons that allow us to prefer XPath to CSS? I'm asking you.
You mean like why we prefer XPath?
Yes, why we prefer XPath to CSS?
Because we can, in XPath, we can go from parent to child, but in CSS, we cannot go the other way.
That's true. This is reason number one. And the second one is related with the text, right? CSS does not allow us to include the text into our expressions, and XPath does, so it is good. So what else? We need to be able to communicate with IntelliJ IDE, and we already know how to clone the project, right? We know the project structure already, so we know that the main files are form XML, right? This is the Maven project, and Maven as the project management tool adds all necessary libraries that are used, and all those libraries are indicated in form.xml file, right? So we have some support files. Those are Java classes, since we are working with Java programming languages, that will identify, that will be important. They will be public classes that will be accessible throughout our files. To initialize the browser, we use which file? Test context, right? And we also have hooks files, which will be run before executing of every scenario and after executing everything, right? And we also have the test runner file, which is responsible for Cucumber format. So it defines the location of our features. It defines the paths, the connection between the definitions and features, right? And it also specifies the folder and the format of our Cucumber reports, which will be produced for every test run. Okay, and now we are going to speaking in more details about Cucumber, the framework which is used for behavior-driven development, right? This is an approach for writing test automations. Then we will go to basic Java programming principles. We're not going deep into learning Java, but we will familiarize with just a few basic functions that will allow us to communicate with our application. And then we will learn the WebDriver functions. So that after that, we will be able to create our scenarios, provide the supporting underlying step definitions in Java, and we also will add Selenium WebDriver functions so that we will be able to type text into input fields, to click on the buttons, to read from the page. So this will be our next challenge. Today, we are going to be speaking about behavior-driven development approach. So it is a branch of test-driven development. So behavior-driven development uses human-readable descriptions of the software application requirements as the basis for software tests. So every test in behavior-driven development approach is based on a user story that is written in formally specified language based on English, and it is using the specific terminology shared by all the stakeholders of the software development process. Product owners, developers, QA, and it also will be understandable by the end users, non-technical person. Okay, behavior-driven development and test-driven development, they are similar since they both are testing strategies for software application. In both cases, the developer will write the test before writing the code to make or check that the test is passing or failing. So in both cases, the tests can be used as a part of the automation test framework so that we prevent the appearance of the bugs. So behavior-driven development is designed, as I said, to test an application from the viewpoint of the end user, whereas test-driven development is focused on testing small pieces of functionalities in isolation. So unit test is an example of test-driven development, writing many small tests that each tests one simple function or object behavior. Okay, so it is good to memorize the definition of Cucumber as the software or tool or framework that supports behavior-driven development. So behavior-driven development approach refers to the way of writing test cases. It is the collaborative process that creates the understanding of the requirements between the business and engineering team. So behavior-driven development tests are scenarios that describe the behavior of a story, feature, or functionality from the user's perspective. Usually starting with, as a student, I need to and perform certain actions. As an instructor, I need to. So Okay, so the structure of Cucumber. The specifications consist of multiple examples or scenarios. Each scenario will be a list of steps for Cucumber framework to work through. And Cucumber verifies that the software meets the specification and generates reports. And it will indicate the success with the green check mark in the results page and the cross for the failure of the scenario or scenarios. So, in order for Cucumber to understand the scenarios, they must follow some basic rules or syntax, which is called Gherkin. Gherkin provides grammar rules that make plain text structured for Cucumber to understand. So, Gherkin executable specifications are stored in the files with the extension .feature. They also should be stored in and versioned, right, in the source control version tool alongside with the Java code. Okay, so Gherkin uses a set of special keywords that have some meaning and provide the structure to the scenarios. Each keyword is translated to many spoken languages, but of course we are going to be using English language. So, keywords. Each line in the scenario, which is not blank, should start with the Gherkin keyword and should be followed by the text that you write on your own. The primary keywords are feature, scenario, and the words given, when, and but for every step. We also have the tags. Cucumber uses those tags to organize the execution of the scenarios from the feature file. You can define every scenario with a useful tag. And later you can decide which specific tag you want Cucumber to execute. The tag starts with @, and after this @ you can have any relevant text to define your tag. Suppose there are 2 or more scenarios in a feature file, and we want to execute only one scenario as part of the smoke test. So you need to add smoke with tag at the beginning of this scenario that you want to execute. Scenario can have multiple tags based on your needs. So in addition to the smoke tag, you may add some tag with the name of the functionality. It may be quiz in our case, or showstopper, or settings, so that if you want to run the scenarios that belong to one and the same functionality, and they might be in different files, but they still will have one and the same tag, they will be run by Cucumber. So guys, any questions about the tags? Okay.
Galina?
Yes.
Can we say that then is also, expected result is the same as then?
Yeah, we will speak about this a little bit later. So let's speak about the feature. The purpose of the feature keyword is to provide the high-level description of the software feature. And in this file, right, under this keyword, you will group related scenarios. So the first primary keyword in a Gherkin document must always be the word feature, followed by a colon. And then short description or short text with the description of this feature. Okay, then scenario. This is the second keyword that is used, right? And in one feature file, you can have one or more scenarios that are logically organized. So scenario is a specification and the documentation, right? So it is created based on the specification. It also is a document. You can convert your manual test case in this format, which will be understandable for everyone, and it will be stored in your version control. Scenario is also a test, right? So it is an executable specification, a requirement for the specific feature. And scenario basically will short sentence that falls into the three familiar BDD categories, right? Or it follows the patterns, right? Describe an initial context, and in this case we are using steps with the keyword given, right? Initial context or condition, right? Then action, or we describe an event, and in this case we use the keyword when. And then, keyword then, describes the expected outcome. Okay. And if we have more than one similar action, the same as the previous step, right, we will use keyword and. And if we have action opposite as of the previous step, you definitely will be using keyword but. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now step definitions. So step definitions connect steps, Gherkin steps from our scenarios to programming code. So step definition is written in programming language. In our case, we will be writing Java code, and it will perform the action that is supposed to be performed by Gherkin scenario step. So the portion after the keyword of every step would be matched to the code block, and this code block is called step definition. Okay, so every step definition is a Java method with an expression that links it to one or more Gherkin steps. When Cucumber executes a Gherkin step in a scenario, it will look for the matching step definition to execute. Okay, let me demonstrate this with our example. Okay, so when I'm saying that every step in our Gherkin, right, will be connected, right, to or linked to the code in Java, we can easily prove that and easily navigate from this step to underlying Java code. So if I hover over on this specific step, you see that the tooltip with the name of the package and the name of the Java class definition is the package, and predefined step definitions is the Java class, and then it shows the public void. I click on element with XPath, it will be Java method, and this part in parentheses. I click on element with XPath, and this is the regular expression. This is the line that links our step definition in Gherkin to Java code. And IntelliJ will allow us to automatically create this expression. So IntelliJ IDE is clever enough to make this link for us. So today we are not going to do this yet, but starting on Monday, we will create our own steps and they will be automatically created. Okay, any questions about this, guys?
Excuse me, Galina, I got a question. How can I look for this or that library to manually look for this predefined instruction or definition?
Okay, what do you mean manually?
I mean, when you click it, just as you said, it will do it by itself. Like it's as you said, it's smart enough to do it like from IntelliJ. But if can I open this class somehow by myself and search what is in this class?
Okay, you will create the class, right? Let's do simple steps. So far, I'm just demonstrating how those Gherkin steps are linked. We are not ready yet. When we start learning Java, we will create our own steps and we will create the classes and the methods, okay? But now we can easily navigate. So now I'm hovering over this method, right? And if I use combination command, and you see, I clicked on command or control key, and it is now underlined and highlighted. And then I can easily click on my left mouse button key, and I will be navigated to this line of code in Java class. So I strongly recommend you guys that you practice with navigating from feature file to corresponding Java class, because in real life you may have thousands lines of code in your files, and it will be really difficult to find the corresponding line of code. And again, IntelliJ allows this easy navigation from this line of code to the corresponding line of code in Java class. One more time. You hover over, right? And you see where it is located. Then you click on Command key or Control key. It will become highlighted and underlined, and then you just click on left mouse key, and then you will be there. Okay? So, one of the problems of programmers, right, software development engineers, is that they have to provide comments in their scripts. Otherwise, it will be difficult to read those codes because developers who wrote this code may have hard time memorizing what they did in a month's time, right? So they have to provide very meaningful comments. And Cucumber allows to solve this problem, right? Because in your predefined feature, you have very, very straightforward description of your action, what you want to perform by this action, and then you can easily navigate to this specific line of code, and you don't need any comments. Okay? So, and those keywords, right, given, when, and then, allow your scenario to be logical and self-explanatory. So, guys, practice with navigating from your feature file to the specific line of code by using a combination of keys, Command plus mouse left click. Does it work for you?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Good. So BDD approach may be useful not only for testing, right? So it is applicable to the entire process. Business analysts write those user stories. Developers would write the code, application code based on these user stories. Functional QA engineers use this format to write test cases, right? And software development engineers in tests or test automation engineers would write the code for automation tests. And the benefit of Cucumber, also you can isolate your test cases in feature file, right? And it will be easy find the way to the Java code that is associated with your scenarios. So nowadays, Cucumber approach is very popular, and a lot of companies are working with this format, even for creating specifications now. Cucumber format is used. Okay, now what else? So we already are familiarized with some predefined steps that have been created for us, right? Navigation steps, alert handling steps, progress steps, click steps, input steps, different assertion steps, and we also have the screenshot steps, which will be, the screenshot will be taken if our test will fail, okay? So, alert handling steps. So, and this, 1 second, where is our, now we need to go to our page, market quote, the one that we need to start practicing with. And this application contains all necessary elements so that we could practice with all kind of predefined steps, including alert. So our first exercise, and in this presentation we have useful tips. So commenting. Okay, guys. So if we need to comment out some of our steps that we don't want to, right? For example, I don't want to wait. I have already written this step, right? And I don't want to execute this one. I can use command and / and it will be commented. And I'm using the same combination of keys, command and / to uncomment this line. I can comment out several lines of code with the same combination and uncomment them as well. Same in the Java class as well. So I can comment just one, or I can, now I will uncomment those. I can comment the block of code. And using the same combination of keys, I will uncomment them. So this is very useful tip. And another one is used for correcting the format. For example, in my scenarios here, I may, by mistake, right, I can ruin my indentation, and the scenario will still be working, right, but it doesn't look accurate. And the combination of keys, command, shift, and L, command option L, or control alt L for Windows users, and command option L for Mac users, will correct this in a minute, right? And it will say that it has formatted 25 lines. You can use this shortcut, or you can go to code, and again I will change formatting here. I can go to code, reformat code here, and you see it shows the same shortcut, the same combination of keys, option, command, and L. Or I just can click on this one and it will be formatted. Any questions, guys? Good. So now let's start our exercises here, and the first will be to validate responsive UI behavior. So we need to verify that the application section has location, date, and time for the desktop and tablet layouts, but they will disappear if I use the phone layout. And every time, guys, when you need to start working on your test automation, you definitely will go to the application and perform this manually, right? So you need to make sure that you are doing the right thing. So here we have the application and we have the desktop UI, right? What about the tablet? Let me use this Windows resizer here, and I will use the laptop format. and it is still displayed this part, right? And when I resize this to mobile UI, so the date and time and location will disappear. So this will be our first scenario to automate, and we will start working in a new feature file, right? So we need to create a new file. Let's do it. How to create the file? Click on the features folder to highlight this one and right click and use new file, and we will give the file name, and it can be quote or cucumber, or let's use cucumber. And of course we need to indicate the extension of our file, and it will be dot feature. Okay, now you see the file name has appeared in our project structure, but it has a different color. So the ones that we cloned from our remote repository, they are in black color, right? Predefined feature is shown in blue. Why? Because we modified it, right? We added some new text, some new steps here, and now it is blue. And this one is red. So we have this pop-up window here saying that, asking us whether we want to add the following file to our repository. Of course we want, so we click on add, and you see it has changed the color here. Now it is green. Okay, please guys perform all those steps and let me know if anyone has any problems.
Galina, if it asks, do you want to add the following file to keep?
Say again?
It asks, do you want to add the following file to keep?
Yes, you click on add and that will change the color.
Okay. And
okay, and you remember that the first keyword that we are supposed to add into our feature file is which one? The first keyword that every feature file is supposed to have is the word feature, right? So I start typing capital letter F, and then I will complete. And then after the keyword, we need to add some text. And we can author any text here, but it should have some meaningful name that will define, right, the purpose, the goal of creating this. So here in this feature file, we will combine some cucumber scenarios, right? So we will type something like practice, writing cucumber scenarios, writing is our feature. But you remember that we agreed that we will develop our good habit of not forgetting adding the tag, so that later we will be able to run some specific scenarios, or maybe not only one scenario but the entire feature, right, by using the tag. So it will be our scenario cucumber, a tag cucumber. Now let's create our first scenario. And the next required keyword is scenario. I start typing capital letter S and complete by using tab. And the first scenario will be verify responsive UI behavior. Okay, what will be our first step? What will be our first keyword?
Even.
Correct. So again, capital letter G, given I. We first need to navigate to this page, right? And we have all the steps are predefined. So far, guys, today we are still using those predefined steps. Starting Monday, we will be working and creating our own steps. But today we will be still reusing those. So we need to open some page. Okay, I type given I open, and I will complete this. And the URL for my page will be on this one. Okay, we can.
Alina, please, can you share the URL in the chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it the same we worked before? Yeah.
It's the same that we were using. Okay, I will put it here in our chat, Zoom chat. And we can make sure that we are on the page that we want to navigate to, right? So we then I should see page title as stream. What is our page title? Inspect. Page title, get a quote. And I wait just to make sure that we are on the page. And I will run this one. Good. So everything is working. And now we need to resize the page. So we have, you remember that when we start here in test context, we have the option, right? Here, start maximizing the page. So by default, our page will be fully displayed. So it's kind of a desktop format, right? And now we need to make sure that the in the desktop, right, the application contains the current date. Okay, so let's identify this current date. And we just can copy this one and add it to our script. Again, then element with XS should be present. What will be our next step, guys? And we need to see what steps have been defined for us, right? I resize window to number and number. Okay, I will add the step and then need to identify the sizes, right? For the iPad and laptop, I have different sizes. I will go with iPad. 124 by 768. So I will add those dimensions to my script. 124 by 768. 024 by 768. And we expect that it will still be, this element still be displayed, right? I can copy and paste this one. And let's run it. Okay. So the test has passed with successful results. Guys, do you follow me?
Yes.
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 Does it work for you?
Yes.
Yes.
If you need more time, just let me know so that. Okay, now let's define the dimensions for the mobile. So it will be, again, I resize when I resize window to 375 and 667. Then what would be my next step?
Galina, is the expression should be present is good enough for this test? Not should be displayed?
It should be displayed. That's true. It should be displayed. That's good. And it should be displayed because it will still be present, although it is not displayed. Good catch. And what about this?
Maybe we should use should not be displayed.
We should not, right. Then element with this element express should not be displayed. Okay, and our element is this current date. Okay, and if we run this one now, it is correct. Okay, guys, does it work?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's look into other scenario here. Fill out and validate username field. Validate that minimal username field length requirement as 2 characters. Okay, what will be your suggestions how we are going to test this?
We should first navigate to this username field. Then we should fill a valid username, like more than 2 characters. And then we should clear it and type 1 character and click on other place on this application, and we should see this error message displayed.
Okay, absolutely. But I suggest that we first start with okay. In our test executions, right, when we start working with running those tests, runtime is important. And some regression tests may be running for long hours. So in our framework, we have this following setup. When you, with every scenario, right, the browser will be opened and closed. So it will take a lot of time. So we need to combine several scenario steps in some logical sequences so that we can reduce this runtime. So that by running one scenario from beginning to an end, right, we will verify several assertions. Okay, so I suggest the following approach. First, we will go to this page, right? We will fill just 1 character here in our input field username. And definitely we need to trigger the error message that would be thrown, right? So as Lambiek said, we can either click on some other input field and then it will be displayed. Or we can click on submit button, right? And again, we want to do not want to make any additional efforts, right? So this clicking submit button will be used everywhere. Therefore, we have to identify some additional step for triggering this message. I suggest that we will work with submit button. And we can say that I submit the form. This will be our, when we start automating this with WebDriver functions, we can do that. I can submit the form and we will definitely save some time. But here we have only two steps, predefined steps. We can either click on some element, right? Or we can click with JavaScript click. Definitely we will be using either submit or there's another input field. So we provided one character here and we got this error message. Then we need to capture this text, right? And maybe say that this error message is displayed. So two assertions are possible. Then we will clear this text and then we'll see another message is displayed. This field is required. And when we provide two characters, then we will have to certify that the message is no longer displayed. Okay? So this will be our steps of our scenario. Let's go to our feature file and continue working on our new scenario. Okay, it will be, don't forget the tag, cucumber 2. And again, scenario name. It will be validate username input field or verify username input field.
Excuse me, Galina.
Behavior. Yes.
I don't know if you already mentioned this, but why are we using the cucumber tag each time and giving it 1, 2?
So you probably want every scenario, right? We run.
Right.
So you will be able to use just cucumber with no number. And all the scenarios that are contained in this and they will be run. So this is the tag which is defined at the feature level. Okay. And this is a tag that is defined at this scenario level. And you can have multiple scenarios. For example, if we are working with quiz, right, you will have the tag quiz. Okay. And another quiz and another quiz, right? And you can have another tag. It will be your smoke and another regression.
Okay, so these tags are, we are defining it or it's...
We are defining. We can define those tags. And of course, you will be working in cooperation with your test automation engineers, right? With your QA manager. So you will develop some strategy, right? How to run those, which of your created scenarios will be run in a smoke, right? This is for test automation of UI, right? Right. Which one will be run for regression? And probably everyone will be regression. Okay. Therefore, you will probably omit this one and you will add the regression at the feature level, right?
Okay. And are we defining these tags somewhere in the test runner or something?
And then you will be calling those from here. So you will add this tag
Right.
name here. And once we get to the point when we'll create test automation jobs with Jenkins, again, I will show you how to call those tags in Jenkins.
Okay.
But so far, don't forget to add your tags in your scenarios. Okay.
Thank you.
Now you see, in this scenario, we also will have to use given I open URL, and then I should see the page title, right? So those steps will be common to every scenario in our feature file. Therefore, we can take them out from our scenarios and we can add them at the feature level with the keyword background. And then you don't just need those. So those steps, given I open URL and I should see page title, will be executed in all the scenarios of your feature file. And now we just will need to work with the step. I type one character into username field. Okay, so let's create this step. I type when can I type some string into element with XS. Okay, just one character, any kind of character. And the element will be, what will be our element? Crowpath doesn't give me any good suggestions here, so let's create it ourselves. Input, and it will be name, username. Name equals username. Maybe good enough. No, not good. What is the second one? Password name, username, and input be if key. Okay, so definitely we will go with input in this case. So every time, guys, you want to use wildcard, check it out, so that your element will be uniquely identified by your XS expression. Okay. This will be mine. Okay. And then we need to trigger the error message. I click on the element, submit button. Okay, button ID form submit. Okay, we can copy this and add it to the script. And I click on element with this XS expression. Alright, and I wait for 2 seconds. Alright, so it is displayed. Let's identify the XS expression for this error message. Okay, it is easy. It is label ID username error. Okay, what about this one? Fine. Okay. Now we use keyword logically then, right? Element with XS should be displayed. Okay, we can also, guys, define the text of this error message, right? Let's see what we have here. Then element with XS should contain text string, right? This will be our step. And what will be our text? Label username error. Okay, we copy and add it to our script. Okay, and again we run this just to make sure that it is working before we proceed to the next step. Good. Okay, guys, do you need time?
Yes, please.
Say again?
Yes, I need time. One second.
Okay, take your time.
Galina?
Yes?
Can we not write the lines 20 and 21 in the same line? Does it matter? I mean, first you have to check if it is displayed and then you wanna check for the text.
So every step goes on a separate line, yeah. Every step should start with the keyword and it has to be provided with some text, right? So you see, if I change a letter here, it will not be identified. Or if I, by mistake, would delete some space, it will not be identified. So it does matter that you provide the exact same step. Therefore, it is better if you open up as the drop-down list, right? And then select this one. So if it is highlighted, right, it means that it needs to be created from scratch. You need to provide the underlying code for this. Okay, now we need to move on, and we want to we want to clear this input field, right? And we have two step definitions for that. I type something into the element with this expression, and I clear the element with this expression, right? Again, when I clear here element with expense, and it will be our username. No, it will be our input name, username. This is our input field. Okay, when we clear this, right, then it will be displayed, right? Let's identify the expense expression for that. Label ID, username, error. It is the same element, right? But it will have a different text. This field is required. Label ID, username, error. Label ID, username, error. So it is displayed. So we can copy and paste those two. But it will be a different text. So the text will be this field is required. And let's add a couple seconds so that we can see this. Okay. Alright, so it is working. Take your time to update your scenario. Okay, so we can add a couple more steps, right? When we input the required number of characters, right? When I type, and it will be now A and B into the element. Okay. And what will be our expected result, guys?
Element should not be displayed.
Then error message should not be displayed, right? Then this element. Should not be displayed. Okay, finally we run this. Okay. Okay, guys, you see that we are using that wait time here to stop the execution of our test. And this is the hard-coded wait time, right? And using this type of wait is not recommended because this amount that we indicated may be too long, right? Or not enough for the full page to be loaded, or some elements visible or clickable. Of course, there exists some more intelligent ways of ensuring that the test execution will continue, right, without stopping or breaking the code, without breaking the scenario. So, but we're not, again, this type of weights are out of scope of our project. There are two different types. It can be implicit and explicit weight. So explicit will be a certain number of seconds that the WebDriver will wait until some certain condition will be implemented. We can set up some timeout and indicate the number of milliseconds that the Selenium WebDriver will wait until, for example, some element located with certain XPath will be present or displayed or enabled. And another possible way is implicit. And again, we will set up certain timeouts in seconds or in milliseconds when the driver will send, right? It will go through the entire page, through the entire document object model, to find through, and it will go through all the elements, right, to find if this specific element is present. The default value of this implicit time is 30 seconds, right? But this time can be extended by using programming. But you need to remember that we're using the hard-coded wait time here for just to stop and see that the page is shown, right? Or for debugging purposes. But it is not recommended in real life. All right. Any questions, guys? Is your script working?
Yes, it's working.
Yes. Excellent.
Galina, I have a question.
Yes, please.
How we can use the word but?
If the next step is opposed to the previous one, and again, it is just the logical organization of your scenario, because you will need it only once, right? And if you see, for example, if I use and I wait, here you see, previously it was the first time when it was created, it was used with the keyword then. What is definitely needed here is this expression. By capturing this expression, right, I can call the step definition in my feature file, and I can use any keyword. It can be then, and, when, whatever. So this organization of or usage of these keywords is just to make your scenarios more readable. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Now, guys, here on our board, I created the individual task for you, and we completed 2 exercises from this. Responsive UI behavior and username field. Then you will have to work on validation of email field behavior, that it will accept only valid email addresses, right? And checking possible error messages. You will have to validate the password set of fields, making sure that if confirm password is disabled, then will be disabled if password is empty, right? Or, so this one, right? And if you put anything here, then it will be enabled. And you definitely need to validate the behavior of the password, right? So that at least 5 characters need to be added, right? And this field is required. Text of error message, definitely. And probably you need to validate this one as well. Okay? So, what else do we have here? Name field behavior. Okay, so you click on this. Okay, let me refresh this one. You click on the name field, right? You provide your first name and last name. Middle name is optional, you can omit this one, right? And if you click on Save button, then your name will appear in this input field. So which step definition, guys, will you have to use for validation of this text?
Switch to window, new window.
No, you don't have to switch. This is the pop-up window, but it does not need it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But with, okay, so then element with XPath string should have attribute string as string. So let's identify this field when we have some input field already there. Okay, we see that it is input input, and the ID will be its name, right? So and it has the value with the text that we entered there. So what will be our step definition here? Element with input ID equal name, right? Attribute ID equal name should have attribute value as text, your first name and last name, and you have to use the exact spelling and exact spaces. So if you have 3 first, middle, and last, then definitely it will be contained first, middle, and last. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
So with every input field on the page, right, when you provide some input text, then you will have to verify that this text is contained there as the value, attribute value. Element attribute value should contain some text with every input. Okay? All right, what is the next exercise? Validate accepting privacy policy is required to submit the form, and then check the field. How will you identify that it is required?
By submitting unchecked.
By submitting unchecked, okay. And you will get the message must check. Okay, good. What else is here? And optional, try entering the following non-required fields in the order: phone number, country of origin, gender. So everything that we have here, guys, right? So you need to go over this entire page and to practice with it. So with selecting country of origin, right, you just need to click, use this element click, and you will provide extended or short XPath expression. We have already identified those expressions, right? To click on the female, you already know how to do it. To select the carmate, you will be able to click on that. You just need to provide the correct XPath expression. What about this one, third-party agreement? If I click on this element, then I will have this alert. And again, we have the steps provided for this alert. You either accept alert or you dismiss alert. Okay, let's go to the page. And when I accept alert, you see, or I dismiss alert. Okay, what else here? Date of birth. So you can enter the date of birth into this input field as a string. And then you will be able to verify that it contains some specific text, right? So just identify this input field date of birth, right? Input name date of birth or ID date of birth. Definitely our preferences will be date of birth. And you can input it in some specific format. Or you can work with this date picker. You can select any year, any date, right? And then you will verify that this date is selected, is displayed on the page. So practice with this one as well. And this additional information is our iframe. You see, and it shows inside the iframe. And we need to identify this iframe ID or name, iframe name, additional info. And you be able to switch to that so that you can enter the contact person name and contact person name. And then you have to switch back to the default content. What else do we have here? We have this related document. We click on this, the new page will be open, right? The new tab. And you need to switch to the new window in this case. So you switch there, you do some verification that this page, right, contains some text. And then you go to the first window, okay? So we have this step, and I switch to the first window. So you switch to the new window first, and then you switch to the first window. Okay, guys, please practice with this. If you have any questions, ask me. We will review them next time. So, and one more thing, I think it is the final exercise here. Submit the form and verify the data. Validate that after form submission, entered field values will be present on the page. And validate that the password is not displayed on the page. Okay. So in order to be able to submit the form, you need to at least enter valid data here, right, in the required fields, and not here but here, and then I will check this privacy policy and submit. And then I will have to validate that my username, last name, everything is displayed on the results page, right? And again, you will inspect and identify the, okay, what will be our section ID quote result. Okay, so it will be probably good enough. It highlights everything here, right? And then you will verify that your first name, last name is displayed. What about the password? you may either say that your password, that the string that you entered as a password is not displayed, right, on the page. Or you can use another. So you will see that this is the span that contains the text password, right? It has this entered field text, right? So play with this and try to identify this one.
Should we fill out only required fields or all the fields in the form?
You can do whatever you want to. You may be free to experiment. The more you practice, the better will be the results. The more hand experience you will get. I don't limit you guys with this exercise. Do as much as you can. Okay, any questions?
Galina, I had a question. In the previous page, we have these fields that have multiple options to choose from, right? So usually when we write test cases for a field with multiple options, how many test cases are we supposed to usually write?
One.
Say again, I didn't get it. Field with multiple options, which one?
Yeah, like for country of origin, we have Austria and we have so many countries, right? So for such a...
I think one will be enough.
One is enough.
Okay.
One is enough, yeah. Any more questions? Okay, guys, I'm done with my material for today, and today is Friday, so I don't want to keep you long. So as soon as the video is processed, I will post it, and in the meantime, I will do the assignment so that every one of you will get individual ticket to complete. And once you do it, again, you will move it into done. Okay?
Will you move it into done, not to review?
Again, guys, I'm not going to personally look into every one of your tickets, right? So if you think that it is good enough, everything is working, you may move it into done. If it is not working, let me know. Send me a message and I will gladly help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, will you need a link for your questions today? Who needs it? Okay, great. Then have a nice and productive weekend, and we will meet on Monday.
Thank you, Galina.
Thank you, Galina.
Thank you. Bye.